Okay, we are live. Welcome to this little behind-the-scenes look at this orchestral piece, which I've kind of called Danger Close. I've been ill for the last couple of days, and I just really wanted to write something fast and energetic. So this is what's kind of what's come out. Think of it as kind of a more hard-edged Star Wars chase scene, I guess. Galactic kind of chase scene. Let's just see what I've got. Runs kind of all the way through. It's not perfect yet, but here it is. This needs filled out a little bit. Not convinced by that melody. Transition's not quite right yet. One of the things I'm going to fix. Okay, so that's kind of what I've got now. It's really just kind of a sketch all the way through. I'm not totally convinced, particularly on the transitions. They're really kind of what needs the work. And there's a few things which needs padded out. This is eventually going to end up in Logic later on today, where I'll import the MIDI and work on it. So it's missing a lot of things like percussion, and there's kind of a lot of detail in the winds. Really, I mean, the brass and the strings kind of carry most of it. So the winds I'll sort of fill them out later. I'll probably play in their stuff later on. This score is extremely messy. You can see that we're all kind of copied and pasted chords in, and there's all the repeated, dynamics and all that kind of stuff. This is really just a scoring thing for me, to be able to kind of write it as quickly as possible and then get it into Logic and get it programmed. I know a lot of composers work straight in Logic, but for me, I just can't quite do it to the same level that I can in Sibelius. I suppose it's kind of to do with my training, I guess, is that I learned how to notate stuff before I learned Logic. I learned how to orchestrate long before I was doing any of this in Logic. So even though it seems like a more time-consuming process for getting a mock-up or a demo together, actually, for me, this kind of can bring the best results for me. And I know other composers will work completely differently. But yeah, basically, this is just a kind of a collage of different energetic moments, all of which feature the kind of the main theme which we have in the opening here, which is just kind of repeated and comes back in lots of different guises. So really the kind of the main features of it are the octave ascending and the triplet motif, 3-note triplet motif. And you'll see that all the way through. So if I go later on, so here we've got it in the strings when we have that, the modulation, it's in the violins here. Just exactly the same, really. Why not repeat stuff if it kind of works? I have to say I'm quite happy with the kind of the count melody that's in here in the horns. It's quite kind of gnarly. Maybe it's a little bit busy. I'll get rid of some notes there, but yeah, okay. So there's some transitions that needed to kind of work. So the opening, I'm quite happy with generally. I think it's the sort of thing I'll change in the score. I think that works quite well. We're just going to go through, and if I hear something that needs changed, we're going to change it. So I think it's too much of 4/4, and actually we're just going to add in an extra kind of beat here. Particularly do this at the end of phrases. It just makes everything sound a little bit more natural sometimes. If everything's not always 4/4, that can be a really useful thing to do. So we'll just put that there. And we'll make this chord last a bit longer. Get pretty good playback with Note Performer. I'm always pretty pleased with how it sounds here. I'm just going to change these chords a little bit. Okay, then we just add in another. It just rounds off the phrase a little bit better. Just having that extra beat there kind of works, I think. And just make that link in. I'm using a brand new mouse. It's my first time trying a roller wheel, so my accuracy is not quite there. That works better. Like that colour change when the 4 horns come in. That works quite well. I'm actually going to enunciate that with some timpani. Just at some bits. The timpani is the only percussion that I'm really filling out, and the snare drum as well. Just because it's kind of the most, in this style of music, one of the most important percussion instruments we can have. You know, I've not really written any cymbals or anything like that. They will come later on. I'll just play them in. That helps that. Okay, I'm not convinced by this melody. It's too busy. What if we just get rid of this? Too busy. That's better. We'll just slur it like this. Great thing is we can just copy and paste this in. This is going to take a while to program when I eventually get into Logic, but that's okay. What's that trumpet? Don't know what that's doing there. In fact, they can maybe just add a little bit of colour. Now, I always make it a little bit too busy. So actually, no, I'm not going to do that. The brass certainly are going to earn their money if this ever gets recorded in this session. It's on their chops a lot, but it kind of needs that energy, I think. So obviously that'll have a lot of tam-tam cymbals. I've not even written any timpani or anything like that. In fact, what are these ties doing? That's wrong. Okay, let's actually put the timpani in. Let's get it to do a roll. Oh, and that's way too low. Also, there should be absolutely some low strings here. That's just an omission on my part. This is just a sketch. I've done this really fast. And obviously that should have a crescendo all the way through it as well. This is just a really messy score, but actually having turned on the camera, it's kind of focused me a little bit. You know, I'm not mucking around like I was before. I think that transition works quite well. Okay, this transition doesn't work. Definitely not. I think it needs to reach more of a climax here. And I'm not sure if the strings, if that actually works. So what we're going to do, we're going to make another copy of this. Turn this into a 2/4 bar to condense it a little bit. That will turn this one into a 2/4 bar. Okay. It needs to just land a little bit more. Nice low notes in the clarinet. I just think it might need a wee like a moment of arrival before moving on. Not quite the right pitches, but let's see. Yeah. Let's keep the snare drum in there as well. And we're just going to shorten it a little bit so it doesn't keep that kind of rigor of 4/4 the whole way through. And the snare drum's going to link it in. And the timpani as well we're going to use to link it in. That kind of rounds off that a bit better. I'm just going to double check from here. Yeah, it's quite nasty in it. I'm just going to transpose these. Just so it has more of a sense of everything kind of descending. Actually, that needs to just have a little bit more space. It was a little rushed, I think. I'll keep the snare drum there. Actually, that'll work. Don't know if that was an improvement or not. I'm unconvinced. Nice, baleful low horn. That's better, but we'll make them crotchets. And actually, we're going to keep this kind of motor all the way through it. Okay, and we just need a decrescendo through that. Yeah, that works better. Again, same melody. This bar kind of sounds a bit weird. which means we either make it more weird or less weird. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it more deliberate. So if it seems like it's not quite right, keep this similar kind of rhythmic pattern. Obviously, this is all missing lots of dynamics and stuff, but that'll come in the programming later on. Just again, using the snare drum just to link things together, and the timpani as well. Just to kind of help. Okay. Quite like this texture, I'm quite happy with this. Not totally convinced. Needs to be a bit more frenetic, doesn't it? It's a bit polite. Okay, we've got the idea. I think some scales here are going to be more useful. I want to be G natural. And again, it's just easy just to put this down the octave. Trying to make it too impossible to play. Looking for realism as much as possible here. It needs to get faster. That's it. That's better. transposes, obviously. I made it a little low for the clarinets and bassoons, and the contra as well. I know those slurs are incorrect for the strings, but I'll sort it out later. Doesn't matter. I'm not quite convinced by that melody. It's maybe a little angular. There you go. Just a bit more spacey, a bit more epic. It's a bit forced, isn't it? Nah, doesn't work. I think this needs to be an F. Got a lot of B flat on that chord. That might have been better. think this needs to be repeated. Rather than sort of changing chord every bar, which I have a habit of doing. Oh, I quite like that. And a little silence before the chords come in. Let's see. Okay, that gives us too much information at one go. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to copy in these 2 bars, but we're going to take away the trumpet melody to begin with. Introduce the layers one at a time. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of this trumpet melody. So we just get this. I hope this works. Never a guarantee. Actually, I think we can afford to have that once more. I quite like that. It's pretty loud. Okay, let's see if this works. That's better. It's not perfect, but that is better, for sure. Okay, some incorrect time signatures on the go in here. Let's just get them sorted before we put them into Logic. I think that kind of works. There's some things in the horns going to change on this pass. Okay, so all this kind of rhythmic stuff in the horns, we don't actually particularly want. Poor trombones are playing that a lot though. It's not really adding anything. It's just going to knacker out the horns. And actually they can really add some more impact to what the Just add to this big E flat kind of chord we've got here. Of the E flat actually featured in the E flat chord. Okay, the trombones should not be doing that rhythmic thing all the way through. They're just going to get absolutely knackered. And actually, this pass they can do the same as the strings. Then they can come and join this melody. And just fill out the chord. Again, let's try and actually have the E flat and the E flat chord. Actually, maybe that needs to be, because that doesn't fit. Let's see. What do we think, listeners? Let's be cheeky. Yeah, we'll take trumpet 2 down the octave. Actually, that's not going to do much. And chuck in some scales here just to finish off this part. A rush towards the end. So it's an E flat chord, so we need obviously lots of E flats. This is the sort of woodwind writing that I definitely have to do in Sibelius, because it just would take forever to try and get in if I was just playing it in. I think that helps. And things like percussion and cymbals, I'll just play it in, because actually writing a cymbal roll in Sibelius is totally different to what Logic needs to read. So it can actually kind of really get in the way. You end up with, because you're writing a tremolo here, you end up with millions of notes which you have to delete. So I just don't do it here. It's just easier. Trying to remember what my harmony is. I think actually it's going to sound better without these kind of muddying the texture. It was the original rhythmic idea that I had for this section, and actually the snare drum string the whole way through, we need to get rid of that. And for it to play the same as this. There's going to be that when I move it to Logic. I'll probably change it rather than just copying and pasting it the whole way through. But for now, I'll kind of do up till here. Okay, spent a bit of time on this. I'm going to listen to it the whole way through again, and I'll only stop if something really jumps out at me. Otherwise, let's get it into Logic. Pretty happy with the opening. Gap here. Something has to happen at the start of this 3/4 bar. A little counter melody in the trumpets. Just a bit, felt a little empty. Maybe not as loud as that, but that kind of worked. This needs to be more extreme. One more bar. So it's ending on too happy a chord. So trying to get the same theme in again. Seems to be extended a tiny, tiny bit. Just really aiming for something really intense. Gonna get a really nasty chord on the front end of this bar here. And that's fine. And these are going to go trem for these last bits. Last note. Very subtle rit will be useful through here. Not sure I've nailed it, but it's the sort of thing I'll come back and listen to again. It's like 90% of the way there. Kind of the problem when you're using harmony that's sort of wrong is it can sound really, really wrong right up until it kind of sounds right. And I think I need to go through it with a really fine tooth comb and make sure that the stuff that I want to sound wrong sounds wrong enough. And the stuff that, do you know what I mean? I think I've been staring at this for too long. One final pass. Obviously the trumpet's too loud there. Just Sibelius playback. happier with that transition. Not quite perfect, but there's a tiny bit extra space there, I think. Still not convinced. I think actually that just gets in the way. Yeah, I didn't need that at all. Why didn't you tell me before? In fact, let's just have it preempt. Preempt the melody that's about to come in properly. It's all just the same theme, just the same intervals from the opening theme. I'm now less convinced by that. Even less convinced by that. I like more of that minor third. Then is all this one bar too early? Nope. There you go, 3.5 minutes of music that I didn't exist about like 12 hours ago. It's getting quite dark in here, so I think it's time for me to go and actually have some dinner. Thanks for coming along. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know. If you enjoy these styles of videos where I literally just turn on a camera and just kind of basically live stream it, let me know. Really happy to hear from you. I hope you enjoy this more kind of in-depth look at what I'm doing in the kind of media scoring that I'm doing. Excuse the really messy score. As I said, this is literally just for logic. This is not going in front of players yet, hopefully. Anyway, yeah, give us a little like, give us a subscribe, and let me know if you've got any questions. Be really happy to hear from you. See you in the next one. Cheers.